Hey everyone, today I want to take a look at some of the changes that are coming towards the Resto Shaman for Shadowlands. So as you know, I personally will be leveling up a Resto Shaman as either a primary alt or potentially a new main and leaving the Holy Priest that I have grown to love over the past 13 years. So I want to take a look at the changes that are coming. So first off, this is the regular dwarf with the new customizations, and she is gorgeous. Like, she a badass bitch, and I'm here for it. So going over the spells and abilities that they have, this is like the key feature for me, because I've been doing my own research trying to figure out what I want to see in a healer, what I want to see in specifically my mythic rating comp, and I think Resto Shamans are going to be needed in most of, if not all of, the progression rating you're going to be doing. They have so much utility. What worries me though is once you have downed the fights, is there still going to be a need for a Resto Shaman? Plus, how are they going to stack up in Mythic Plus? Because if I'm going to be struggling to be clearing the top Mythic Plus, does that mean I'm making a poor decision in leaving my Priest and in running into the Resto Shaman? So with that, let's take a look and to see what abilities and spells they have gained in the Shadowlands beta. So far, nothing. So Astral Recall, which is nothing new. That's just your hearth, basically. We like an extra hearth. They still have their Earth Elemental, Earthbind, Farsight. There's nothing that's really looking right off the bat that jumps out to me as, oh, that's new, except for the Flame Tongue weapon. I don't think Resto Shaman have this currently. So imbue your weapon with the element of fire for 1 hour, causing each of your attacks to deal 5 additional fire damage. Well, for a healer, sure. Maybe in a 5-man, this could be something I want to keep, but I'm not really going to be mainlying that much. But I'm still going to put it on. Maybe it'll work for me. Next page over, we've got Lightning Shield. Surround yourself with a shield of lightning for 30 minutes. Melee attacks have a 100% chance to suffer 11 nature damage. Only one elemental shield can be activated on the shaman at a time. So looking at this, I'm thinking from a PvP perspective, I'm going to want that. A little bit extra, you touch me, you're going to get a little shock. I'm fine with that. They still have Ghost Wolf. Healing Stream Totem is still here. Nothing has really changed. Our totem's out. It looks good. Primal Strike, an instant weapon strike. Okay, so we don't have this on retail as Resto. So this is a weapon, just a melee ability. I don't know how much as a Resto Shaman you're going to be meleeing. Maybe if someone's right on top of you in a PvP setting. But I feel like even if you're looking at Mythic Plus, you're probably still going to use your ranged abilities to help damage and not so much your melee. But I don't know for sure. That could change. As we keep on looking through, nothing else here has really changed for the basic shaman. Going into Resto, and this is the part that matters the most to me. Returns all dead. So this is just a big res. We already have this. Mana Tide Totem. This ability is what I'm like, ooh. Summons a Mana Tide Totem at the feet of the caster for 8 seconds, granting 100% increased mana regeneration to party and raid members within 15 yards. This was such a big deal when you didn't have them. When they took this away, Shamans lost part of their utility. Shamans have always been really good though, but this in a raid setting is literally everything. Not to mention, it can also be really beneficial to you when you're running Mythic Plus. If you have an extra cooldown to regenerate your mana really fast, that means you're moving through packs of mobs that much faster. So I'm really excited that Mana Tide is coming back into play for the Shamans. Earth Shield. Earth Shield being baseline, I think, is a really smart and a good decision. So Earth Shield protects the target with an earthen shield, increasing your healing on them by 10% and healing them for 190 when they take damage. 9 charges. This heal can only occur once every few seconds. Earth Shield can only be placed on one target at a time. Only one elemental shield can be activated on a shaman at a time. So I'm not going to place this on myself very often. Earth Shield I'll be putting on my tank, and I think that's a really good thing. When they moved that away from Shaman, from Resto Shaman, and you get to talent into it, it wasn't a good feeling having to pick putting a bit of a buffer on a tank than not being able to at all, because this buffer, it's not a tank cooldown, but Shamans don't have a strong tank cooldown unless you want to consider Spirit Link Totem. So adding on an extra shield, an extra buffer, a little bit extra healing, plus increased healing on that target is a win. So being baseline, I'm very much here for it. We still have Riptide, we still have our Spirit Link Totem, it still activates as the same. We've got our Healing Tide Totem, nothing else here has really, oh, Water Shield. So Water Shield is the next thing you can put on. The caster is surrounded by globes of water, granting 17 mana per 5 seconds. When a melee attack hits the caster regenerates 2% of their mana. This effect can only occur once every few seconds. Only one of your elemental shields can be activated on you at once. So again, in a raid, probably in a Mythic Plus, Water Shield is going to be very beneficial to Shamans. Shamans are going to be your mana batteries. That's what I'm looking at right now. And when you are progression raiding, you're going to want that mana battery, especially on those long fights when you're first trying to like dabble in them. So I'm really excited for the Water Shield to be able for me to put on myself. I'm here for it. Everything else is basically still the same. Not a lot has changed in that regard. So Tidal Waves, casting Chain Heal or Riptide reduces the cast amount of your next healing wave. Party. Passive, your direct heal crits refund a percentage of your maximum mana. 1% from Healing Wave, 0.60% from Healing Surge or Riptide, and 0.25% from Chain Heal. So again, I really think Shamans are going to be that battery you need in order to heal. Looking at the dwarves, I'm trying to figure out if I want to be a dwarf or if I want to be a Dark Iron dwarf moving into Shadowlands, because I really like these customizations. I think she looks so good. Just as a refresher for you, Stone Form removes all harmful poisons, disease, curse, magic, and bleed effects, and reduces all your physical damage taken by 10% for 8 seconds. This is really appealing to me. From a PvP perspective, I've always liked this ability. Also from a Mythic Plus, I haven't looked at the dungeons, I don't know all of the endgame raids, I haven't done any of that testing yet. But being able to cleanse myself from any of these effects, I think is a really strong tool, and I think dwarves should be looked at very closely, at least in the starting of an expansion. The other racial is Explorer. You find additional fragments when looting archaeology finds, and you can survey faster than normal archaeologists. Well, that's going to be irrelevant in Shadowlands, so I kind of hope this changes. Frost resistance, party, who doesn't love some frost resistance? So overall, I do think I like the changes that are coming to Resto Shaman, and I think she's going to be a contender. I am worried though that once you've done your mythic progression or your heroic progression, where a shaman's going to stack with the rest of the healers. That's kind of what I've always kind of sat. A shaman has been like, you need one in a raid. You don't really stack shamans. And I'm nervous to see where they're going to stack in Mythic Plus. So my eye is to watch this shaman, and I am actually looking forward to playing her and leveling her, and I think she's going to be a lot of fun. And again, I think you're going to see a Resto Shaman in every Mythic raid, at least to begin. I think they'll start dropping off though as soon as you've killed that boss and your healers are getting more gear. But they are going to be your mana battery, and that is huge and beneficial, and I think everyone should be watching Resto Shamans a lot, especially in the beginning of the raids. Looking at the talents that the Resto Shamans have, I was curious to see, like, okay, so based off of what we have in retail versus what we have now, going over, so we still have Torrent, which I think is still going to be a really good tool to pick. Unleash Life is in there, and so is Undulation. And these ones, they haven't really changed from what we currently have in retail, which is fine. Something I want us to pay attention to is that in the Road 25, we used to have Earth Shield. Instead, they've replaced Earth Shield with a Surge of Earth. Consume up to 3 charges of Earth Shield to heal up to 6 allies near your Earth Shield target for 164 per charge consumed. So I think this is going to be a really good stack up raid talent. I don't know if you'll pick the other ones or not. Riptide, Healing Stream Totem, and Lava Burst have 2 charges. I still see the appeal to wanting to run this if you're spread out, perhaps, maybe in a 5-man, and then Deluge, Healing Wave, Healing Surge, and Chain Heal. Heal for an additional 20% on targets affected by your Healing Rain or Riptide. So again, this one might also be really good to run. Like, I think if you're doing a stack up fight, it's gonna be between these two. I think Echoes might be your Mythic plus talent, and maybe even this one. Like, this one could be Surge of Earth will not be a Mythic plus talent. You'll be running between these two, but on a raid, I'm curious to see how Surge of Earth will actually stack up against the other talents that are in the same wavelength. Moving down into Spirit Wolf, that hasn't really changed. Earth Grab is still there. Static Charge is still there. I will likely be going with Static Charge for 5-mans because Cap Totem is so strong. It's such great utility. You want to keep that running. Moving into your ancestral targets you heal with Healing Wave, Healing Surge, Chain Heal, or Riptide. Initial heal gain 10% increased health for 10 seconds. Your Earthen Wall Totem, again, looks pretty good. It could still potentially be a Mythic plus talent. The Res one, I would kind of like to see them redo this talent. I don't really think this talent, in comparison, is going to be as good as the Earthen Wall Totem, and I think in a raid you're most likely going to want to run with Ancestral Vigor. That's my first look at everything. Dropping down to Nature's Guardian, when your health is brought below 35%, you instantly heal for 20% of your maximum health. Okay, that's a nice little pick-me-up. Graceful Spirit reduces cooldown of Spirit Walker's Grace by 60 seconds and increases your movement speed by 20% while it's active. I really like this talent. I like being able to feel that I can move and cast, and maybe as a Holy Priest where I haven't really had that much ability to move and cast, this speaks a lot to me. And Windrush Totem. Summon a totem at the target location for 15 seconds. So this is, again, nothing has really changed. I'm going to be seeing, I think you're going to be using a lot of Graceful Spirit on heavy movement fights, and probably Nature's Guardian, and also probably, I'm going to say, between these two, again, I don't really think you're going to use Windrush Totem. I think Windrush Totem is going to be very situational again. I feel like it just doesn't stack up in comparison to the other in the row, but it's still there for that one fight you might need it on. Dropping down into Flash Flood, when you consume Tidal Waves, the cast of your next heal is reduced by 20%. Downpour, a burst of water at the target location heals up to 6 injured allies within 12 yards. Cooldown increased by 5 seconds for each target effectively healed. And Cloudburst Totem. I don't know where I stand on Cloudburst. Honestly, I know that it's been it's a hot totem to pick sometimes it's meh. I don't really think Downpour is going to jump in here. Maybe again on a raid setting if you're stacked up. Otherwise, I think you're going to be going between Flash Flood and Cloudburst. Again, it just depends. Cloudburst does seem pretty strong. Just because when the totem expires or dies, the stored power within 40 yards for 30% of all healing done while it's active, it gets divided among the targets. So I think you're going to see a lot of Cloudburst in 5-man. Dropping into our final row, High Tide. Every 4,000 mana you spend brings a High Tide, making your next 2 chain heals heal for an additional 10% and not reduce each jump. Wellspring, it creates a surge of water that flows forward, healing friendly targets in a wide arc in front of you for 901. And Ascendance, transform into a water ascendant, duplicating all healing you deal for 15 seconds and immediately healing for 4,154. Ascendant healing is distributed evenly among allies within 20 yards. I don't really see an opportunity where you're going to want to run into a Wellspring. If you're stacked, you're going to want to be in the middle, in my opinion. Maybe there'll be a fight that I haven't seen yet where you're going to want to take Wellspring, but I don't really see a point right now where you're going to want to run Wellspring. So I think you'll be picking between High Tide for an extra the extra healing when you go to use your chain heal, but Ascendance is also a really strong looking cooldown, and I think that Ascendance is likely going to be your go-to pick when you're looking at Mythic Plus. I also think I'll be taking Ascendance in a raid setting. Again, it might depend on what the raid is, but I've always loved Ascendance, and I'm curious to see where all the talents are going to stack up. So not a lot has changed in Resto Shaman. The biggest one to look at is going to be the Surge of Earth. That's my look at Resto Shaman and some of the changes you can look forward to for Shadowlands coming soon. Bye for now.